Seems like tomorrow is Labor Day. It seems like a contradiction of the terms. It looks like to me we ought to be laboring on Labor Day instead of taking off. It seems to be a good bit of confusion about the whole idea of work itself today. It seems like that most people are trying their best to get out of it and into it when it comes to laboring. And these days, the most difficult task in any operation of a business concerns the labor force itself, as you know, finding responsible people who are willing to work. One employee said, "I like to work. It fascinates me. I can sit all day and look at it." One man asked his friends if his brother had found work. He said, yes, he had. He said, what's he doing? Nothing. He got a job. In our day of fantasies, much like our sweepstakes, our educational lottery, which is a lie, as most of you know, had nothing to do with education. Far too many people are looking for the day when they can relax, get out of work for the last time, collect their last paycheck, say a few words to the boss as they're getting ready to leave, some things maybe that they wanted to say for many, many years, and as you're exiting the door, you might find them saying, and your wife is ugly too. Labor Day. You know, for many years we felt like that we've had a curse upon ourselves concerning work and the teaching of it, but when we come to Genesis and take a look at what was given to Adam and Eve there in the garden, we know that it is what? God's will for our lives, that we work. And that's where we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about out of the book of James is God's will for our life. And of course we know that work is a part of that. The Bible specifically talks about that. And, you know, if we don't work, we don't eat. And in this particular celebration of Labor Day, we might ought to keep that in mind, that it is a celebration of God's will for us, that we work, that we have a purpose in life, and that we fulfill that purpose according to His will. As I told you last Sunday, to know God's will is humanity's greatest knowledge. However, to do God's will is humanity's greatest success. In fact, that's my definition of success, is knowing and doing the will of God. Knowing and doing the will of God. We can't have one without the other. Knowing and doing the will of God if we're going to simply find success in our lives. The day in which we live, you didn't have to read very far in the newspaper this morning. You didn't have to pass the front page to see that there are definitely some uncertainties in our lives today. The whole Gulf of Mexico coast from Florida all the way to the other side of Texas is living in the midst of definitely uncertain days. If we look at the stock market, the banks, the rise and falls of the interest rate, the rise and falls of the gas prices, we know without a shadow of a doubt that we live in some very uncertain days. Very uncertain days. It's there I want to stop for just a moment. I think we ought to pause and lift some situations up in prayer. Get serious with God about our prayers this morning. Simply because of the intercession that we need to find ourselves in this morning for those people that in the Gulf Coast. I can't imagine what those people are facing. In New Orleans, those people already. Millions of people are already on the road, starting yesterday. Bumper-to-bumper traffic, walking, standing in lines, waiting on buses, tourists. I can't imagine what those people are going through for the second time in most of their lives. And their lives are turned upside down by the uncertainties of life. James speaks to us about those uncertainties in this passage of Scripture. Many of you this morning, I don't want to stop there in our intercessory time, because I think even though we're not facing the hurricane that is coming, what's that hurricane name? Gustav. Couldn't they come up with an English name? Maybe that is English. But Gustav is headed on the way. Then Hannah is coming right behind him. And we're not certain where Hannah is going to go. It may come into the Atlantic side of the East Coast. I think there's some uncertainties, regardless of what hurricane's coming to the coast. There may be hurricanes that are going through your lives this morning. You may be facing a hurricane, whatever the name is. It may be work-related. It may be family-related. It may be just the pressures of life that are coming down upon you, brought on by this world, and Satan, whatever it is. It may be a job opportunity. It may be lack of a job. I know there are many in our congregation that are facing those situations. There are hurricanes that are coming into all of our lives at different times we're facing. And I really feel in my heart this morning that there is a great, great opportunity this morning to join ourselves in prayer and lift these hurricanes up, if you will. Intercessory prayer. Now, coming down to the altar and getting along with God, with those that are having and facing these difficulties and problems. I just want us to take time this morning to get along with God this morning and lift those situations up, place it before God, bring it to the throne of grace, and listen, people. This is the book that James has written, and this passage that he's written, this is about faith. It's about faith. Believe in faith when you come, and believe in faith that you can leave it here, and God's going to do something about it. He's going to take care of it. Trust Him. He'll pick it up and carry it back with you. Decide not to come here, pray where you are. Many, many things this morning. There are those that are facing those difficulties, and friends and neighbors and church members, if you know about a situation, come and pray with those families. Y'all come. Joyce begins to play this morning. If you have a situation that you want someone to come where you're sitting and pray with you, just lift your hand up. Our deacons will respond to you where you are. Just lift your hands up. Just lift your hands up. Our deacons are watching. If there's someone that needs prayer this morning, James, I'd like for you to, Vicki is somewhere located in the congregation. I can't see her because of the lights. Her niece, Libby's requested prayer also. Bobby, you come down and pray with Libby and Louis. Vicky's niece is facing some situations. She's very young. She brought her name wrote her name down. Miss Kings. Harmony Kings. Also, Marsha Bottom is in the hospital. Not sure of her situation or her condition. Of course, don't forget the hurricane people. Don't forget the people over in the foreign countries that are fighting for our freedom. There are others, just raise your hand up. We'll find deacons and they're watching.